both such different flavors, you know. The joy of singing in a studio and just being one with your own thoughts and yourself, and you know, kind of singing a brand new song for the first time. It's a very different kind of a gratification you get. So, as I was saying, you know, a live audience is the kind of response you get is instant, the gratification you get is instant. They record a song and a studio, you never know where that song is going to reach. But when you're performing for a live audience, you know exactly how the song is perceived, whether the crowd is liking it. Everything is instant. There's no time to think, there's no time to contemplate, there's no time to change, there's no time to redo anything. So it's very in the moment, very spontaneous. So the kind of joy and that adrenaline rush, as they say, that you get from being on stage is very, very different. It depends. I mean, a lot of times I do change because a lot of times it happens that when you're at a show and you think people want to dance, but when you go there, people really enjoy the romantic songs. They love listening to the old songs, slow songs. So we just switch it up and it works. And then when they're warmed up, suddenly they want to dance and then you kind of change it up. But sometimes aisa bhi hota hai ki, you know, they're okay with anything. They just want to watch you and they just want to hear you sing whatever that you want to sing. So in which case I just stick to what I feel like doing. As artists, you can never become comfortable or ever. I don't think any artist would feel like now I'm sorted, because there's always more to our creative journey. There are always like new things happening in the industry, right? So I don't think, at least for me, I've ever felt like now I've made it or now like my life is sorted. The direction that I was taking in the industry, even for myself, like I never expected to kind of get into the industry in the way that I did. And the song that made it happen for me was Lazy Lamhe, which happened I think back in 2008, I want to say. And that song just happened by chance. It was not even supposed to be final in my voice. And that song completely changed my life. I mean, I was called the Lazy Lamhe girl. And then people started calling me lazy girl. And I'm like, no, I'm not lazy, I'm a Lazy Lamhe girl. But yeah, that song definitely, it kind of changed. Even for myself, forget the people and the acceptance that I got. But for me, in my own eyes, like, things changed after that song. I think I started very small in 2004, I want to say, 3 or 4. I was still in college, and for me it was a way to escape studying, because I was never into it. I was always into music. Even though I never consciously thought I would make a career in music, I never wanted to professionally become a singer. Nobody in my family's ever done it. Back then I didn't know so much. So I just wanted to sing, and I met a bunch of insanely talented musicians very early in my life, which I feel very blessed for. And just one thing led to another. And for me, back then it was going and singing chorus and making 200 rupees. And which was great for me because it was pocket money and I could go and eat my own food or go to Fashion Street and shop my own clothes and not have to ask my parents when I was, I think, 17 or something. And for me, that was a very, very big deal back then. And I come from a very, very simple middle class family. So a possibility of a career in music and, you know, being out till 4 o'clock doing shows was so unacceptable. I had to really, really kind of fight my way through it and make my parents understand that, listen, like, I'm just having fun, let me have fun. And I think it's only when they saw me kind of just progressively do well is when even they understood that, you know, there's something in this. बीते सरक सरक के देखो ये लेजी लम्हे, चलते खिसक खिसक के ये लेजी लम्हे, कैसी लिए खुमारी देखो ये लेजी लम्हे, पलकें भारी भारी ये लेजी लम्हे, ढीला छोड़ मुझको आ तू उंगलियां फिरा, हसरतों की नज़्में तू बदन पे लिख जा, धड़कन है ठहरी सी, सांसें हैं गहरी सी, ये लेजी लेजी लम्हे, ये लेजी लेजी लम्हे. Lazy Lamhe. I am like, it's a joke in my house that I'm like this sad, depressed woman because I'm always like listening to old songs, sad songs, depressing songs. No matter how happy I am, I love the melancholy. I love the kind of emotions that really sad words and songs bring about. So yeah, that's my genre. Ballads, and preferably either romantic ballads or like really sad ballads. They have to, otherwise there'd be a bit of a conflict or some sort. I mean, that's a struggle that everybody goes through because eventually you're catering to a market and you need to kind of have all kinds of songs. You need to have like all kinds of genres, and I get it, right? Because you can't sing a sad song when people want to dance. So you have to kind of do all of that. Like for me, so many songs in my career has been like dance numbers and fast numbers. But would I go home and listen to it and sleep to it? Obviously not. Given a choice, would I sit and listen to those songs with my friends? No. But it's not like I don't love doing it. I mean, all the songs, the fast songs or the dance numbers that I've done, I love performing that with my band and my team on stage and for people. But personally, no. I like my sadness. So I feel like I pride myself on the fact that the music that I create is only for me, and for me, my philosophy in that is that if you can get me for the music that I make, then it's great. But if you don't, then I'm okay with it, because what I sing for people is what I sing for people. But what I create by myself, for myself, with my people, that's really to satisfy my own soul and my own creative kind of juices and the artist inside me. And I have a song called Savera that I've done a few years ago, which is a single. I don't know how many people or the masses connect to it essentially, but I'm very proud of that song. There's a song that my husband and I, we did called Tum Aur Ghost, which we actually wrote in the lockdown because we suddenly realized how grateful we are for each other and to have this life and to have this kind of a support system, especially in the lockdown. And we released it a few months back. I don't think I made it for people. And I think as artists, it's important to make songs for yourself because the industry is already doing that. You know, the industry is already catering to what the audience is like. And it's important to kind of change that and let people also see and have a look into your soul and understand what you as an artist stand for. And I feel like sometimes it's possible that our country and our industry in general lacks that. We kind of sometimes run behind क्या चलता है, ये चलता है, ये नहीं चलता है, but you don't know what really works until and unless you give people a taste of who you are as an artist. And there are a lot of artists who do that, and it's important that everybody, no matter what you do, you kind of find that time and space to give people that real you, let them see who you really are. It's a very interesting question because a lot of times we don't like the songs we sing, and I'm being very honest here. And you have to still deliver, and that's when you rely on your technical knowledge of music, right? And you know how to emote and make it happen and whatever. And it's not possible technically for everyone to love every song. That's the thing about music, is that there's no good or bad music. It's just a personal choice, you know. And you try and connect with it as much as you can. Sometimes you really connect with the song and it just flows, and sometimes you rely on your technical expertise to deliver the song. It's a little bit of everything. It's very easy to just sing a song, but what makes you stand apart is, and I feel like the answer to your question has got a lot to do with kind of soul searching. You have to, as an artist, or even as a human, but more so as an artist, you have to go within yourself. You have to constantly dig deeper and kind of find that person that is inside you, that is emoting, and you know where it's coming from and what is your sound and what's your style, because it's we knowingly or unknowingly kind of start following other artists. Sometimes it happens very knowingly because you say, oh, I want to sound like this person because this person is my idol, or you listen to an artist so much because you're obsessed with that artist, and then you, or subconsciously, you just start kind of imitating that artist without even realizing it. And it's important to kind of there's no one way of doing it. I feel it's a little bit of everything. You have to be, there's a lot of awareness that's probably needed. There's a lot of soul searching. There's a lot of, you should be able to hear yourself and say that, okay, this is not you. And you should be able to, I think it's very important to be honest with yourself and to have people around you who are honest with you, to let you know that this is not authentically you. And more than people around you, I feel like if you can give yourself that reality check, there's nothing like it. If you can hear yourself as an artist behind a mic and say that, okay, this doesn't sound like me, or I don't sound authentic, or what can I do in order to sound authentic? It's a journey. It's not something that happens for some people it does, but for the most part, it's a long process, and it's an ongoing process. I don't think we ever stop finding ourselves. Even as artists, we keep changing, right? Like, I don't sound like the way I did probably 10 years ago. Evolving it's important. It's an important part of life. I just want to kind of shed a little light on what I've learned in the last few years on that particular thing that you said. It's like a black hole, you know what I'm saying? Like, you get into that space of looking at other people and feeling like, oh, you know what? Inspiration is one thing, but somewhere I feel like we all need to kind of see ourselves in a better light and not feel like, oh, this person is so good that I feel small. I feel like it's a very dangerous path for artists unless you can really, really get inspired from it. But a lot of times it's not the inspiration but the insecurity that it eventually, kind of shapes into in some way or form for a lot of people. So I feel like and I used to be like this, right? So I feel like it's so important, like consciously, where I have to tell myself that everybody's on their own journey, everybody's learning, and everybody's growing in their own time and pace. There is greatness in the world, for sure, but that doesn't make you small. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make you small because somebody else is great. Somebody else is great because they're gifted, they've worked hard, they're talented, whatever may be the reason, but that doesn't make you any small because you're growing at your own pace and at your own time. And as long as you're putting an effort, it's good. Sure, I get what you're saying. Like, you get inspired by someone. But is it possible that you can even say that, oh, this sculpture is carved so beautifully, but you know what, mine's not that great, but it's okay, it's fine, I'll get there or not, but I'm at my own time and pace and I'm doing what I can. And that's okay too. No, I feel like we live in a world where we live in a world of insecurities. We live in a world of constantly feeling not good enough, and this is what we get to see on social media. Everyone's trying to be so out there. Everyone's trying so hard to be nice. Everyone's trying so hard to show themselves in the best light possible. I think this could be just my perspective. It's important to have a reality check. It's important to hear great artists, be inspired, work hard, sure, all of it. But it's also important to know that nobody's perfect and that everybody is learning and making mistakes, and everybody feels like, oh, they could do better. So it's important to not feel like that under pressure. I feel like it's important to kind of let life flow, because sometimes you just beat yourself up because you're not. There's a difference between inspiration and beating yourself up because you feel like you're not good enough, or because you're not as good as that person. And I feel like there's a very fine line there. And a lot of times, I read this line somewhere, I don't know by who, and it said that artists are the most miserable people in the world. And it's somewhere true, because we live in insecurity, because we don't have a steady job, we don't know where our next paycheck is coming, we don't know where our next work is going to come from. There are so many people in the industry like wanting to do the same thing that we invariably are extremely insecure. And that's the reason why I feel like it's very important to kind of take a step back and say that it's okay, it's all good, like it'll happen. You just have to trust the process and trust yourself, if that makes sense. So, for me, firstly, it's very important to understand where the music director is coming from. A lot of times, some music directors want it exactly like the way they want it. So they're very, very specific. They don't want you to change the smallest thing. They want you to sing it exactly like the way they hear it in their head. And there are some music directors who just let you free. They say, this is the basic melody. You do what you want. You want to do variations, you want to change things, you want to add things, you want to remove things, feel free. So first, it's very important to respect the maker's choice because they are the ones who have created the music. So as a playback singer, I'm not the creator, the lyricist and the music composer are, right? So it's important to kind of first understand where they come from, and then if they've given you like very specific directions on how they want the song to be, then you just follow that. I feel like paying like importance to the lyrics, to the words is very, very crucial, and it's important to keep taking cues from them. I'll sing like with a full open voice, and then somebody will say, oh, you know what, this is very open, you might want to tone it down, and then you tone it down, and then you say, oh, this is too soft, I want a little more strength in your, a little more body. You just kind of, and this is all technical stuff that you learn over time, mic techniques and everything, and then you just take it from there. And for people who just give you freedom, then you just kind of pull out things from your little box of creativity and you just kind of have fun. I think R.D. Burman Sahab and Kishore. I've heard a lot of their stories. Bachpan mein there used to be a cassette I used to have, which was best of R.D. Burman and Kishore. And before every song, R.D. Burman used to talk about the song or about Kishore. Some story, he used to give like a little anecdote before every song. And I've heard that tape, side A and side B, on repeat for hours and hours and hours. Lecture में, last seat में, headphones लगा, Walkman लगा के, train में. मतलब friends and all are hanging, but I have my headphones. Like I have obsessed over that particular cassette like so much. So yeah. For sure. Talking about like retro songs, there's this one song that it's my go-to song. Like I said, no, I love giving pravachan. So this is one song that I always listen to, and I feel like that's the power of music, right? This song has always been like my go-to song that I mean for years, ever since I was a kid, I think till date. And it's called Kuch To Log Kahenge Logon Ka Kaam Hai. I think it's just a genius masterpiece of a song that was made like years and years ago, and to date is so relevant, right? Because it's written so beautifully. Kuch to log kahenge लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों में कहीं बीत न जाए रहना, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे लोगों का काम है कहना. 100%. I mean, we live in a world of opinions, and everybody.
Opinions and judgments.
Opinions and judgments, everything, all of it. So you gotta do what you gotta do and move on in life, right? Don't get me started on the pravachan. किसे पूछूं ऐसा क्यों बेजुबां सा वक्त ये कहाँ है, खुशी के पल कहाँ ढूंढूं बेनिशा सा वक्त भी यहाँ है. Yeah, I think so. And nobody's ever asked me this question. I'm just kind of threw me off completely. Yeah, but I think Bharin hai na. I wouldn't say recreate it. Yeah, maybe why not? But so song called "Kabhi Kabhi Mere Dil Mein Khayal Aata Hai."
Yeah.
This song was arranged by my father-in-law, who's arranged like some of the most iconic songs in the industry. And he's arranged this song, which incidentally I got to know many years after I got married. And I was like, my husband and I were talking, and he's like, "Oh, Dad's arranged this," and I'm like, "What? Like, this is my favorite song. Like, how did I not even know that?" But anyway, this is it's such a beautiful song, and I would really, and even though I hate the idea of remixing and remaking, and आजकल का जो वो ट्रेंड है ना, like वो गाने को उसकी घिसाई पिटाई करके, like it's just the most frustrating thing honestly as an artist, because I feel like originality is somewhere gotten lost. But nevertheless, if I still have to sing, or if somebody gave me the opportunity to redo a song, then yeah, this would be the one. कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है, कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जैसे तुझको बनाया गया है मेरे लिए, कि जैसे तुझको बनाया गया है मेरे लिए। तू अब से पहले सितारों में बस रही थी कहीं, तुझे ज़मीं पे बुलाया गया है मेरे लिए। कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है। Thank you. I feel like life has a plan for you. You know that saying, na? Life is what happens to you when you are busy making plans or whatever it's called. So I feel like it's so true, because I have an older brother who was doing his MBA at the time when I was in college. And I really had no direction. I was always singing, constantly singing, and it's so bizarre that it never occurred to me that I could do it professionally. But I was basically like, whatever he does, I'll do the same thing, I'm sorted. While he was really good at math, I was terrible at math. I'm so glad, because I would have failed in every single subject. But things happened to me. It just, everything came and fell on my lap at the time. Meeting Amit Trivedi, singing for jingles, singing for Gujarati plays. I used to sing for a lot of plays, chorus, backing vocals. Everything came and fell into my lap in that 1 year, I would like to say, one or 2 years, which completely changed my life. I mean, I was practicing, I was singing every day, I was doing my riyaz, but not to become a singer. I was doing my riyaz पहले तो because compulsory था घर में, तो मार मार के used to be like, you have to do riyaz. I come from a South Indian family, तो learning Carnatic music is compulsory. आप भले कम marks लाओ, it's fine, but you have to learn music and you have to learn Bharatanatyam dance. So riyaz was mandatory in the house, and that eventually, as much as I used to really hate my parents and like keep fighting with them, why are you making me like do this while all my friends are going to play and I have to sit at home and sing? But I'm so grateful for that initial exposure that I got, which made me fall in love with music. But I think that's the only thing right I did. I don't think I didn't attract any, the laws of attraction, like they say. I don't think that happened because I never even wanted to sing professionally. But I think the only thing I did right was learn. I'll tell you something very interesting is for the last 10 years in the industry, no director has ever mentioned about a face fitting the voice. I think that concept has changed a lot over the years. I mean, even think about like a song like Chaiya Chaiya with Sikandar ji as sound. Does it really work on Shah Rukh Khan's face? Like, their voices are so different, their personalities are, it doesn't fit, but it still fits. And that's the whole kind of shift in the industry that happened from when I think Lataji and all of them used to sing, when they used to actually change their voice and their modulation and their emotions according to the actresses. Today we don't even know who we're singing for. We don't know what film it is for, we don't know who's in it, we don't know how many other people are trying, we don't know anything. We go in and just hear the melody, we deliver it, and it just comes out. And I feel like somewhere it's very unfortunate because music launches में singers or music directors को invite नहीं किया जाता, and that's the truth. And there was a time when music launches were a very big deal, you know, press coverage, and they used to take our interviews and all of that. And over the last 10 years, it's completely changed. And it's all about the actors, it's about, I mean, sure, it's the bigger picture. But the irony of life is, you know, that there's a music launch and the musicians are not a part of it. And we don't know who we're singing for. We have no idea. We don't even get to see the video. Sometimes I do get to know, and then you kind of keep that in mind. But I feel like as long as you nail the words and the emotions that come with the words and the melody, it's bound to fit. If it's written correctly to the emotions and you sing correctly to the words, if the song is composed correctly to the situation, if the lyrics are written perfectly, and if you do justice to the song, somewhere it has to fit. I don't know how many people even listen to an album. I feel like, and it's something even Beyonce, I think, had said recently in one of her Instagram posts, that it's just, people are just putting out singles like they're at a market, you know, just kind of. It's so sad that albums are not there anymore. You need to have albums like 8 songs, 6 songs, 10 songs. That culture has gone. Of course, in India, that culture went long back, you know, the times with Lucky Ali and all of them. Tabhi, there used to be pop albums, and we haven't seen that since. So I do want to create more music, but I don't know where. I recently performed this at an event, and it's one of my favorite mashups. And it's the only time I actually sang this mashup, but I just love the way it just beautifully goes from one to the other. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin? But I can't help falling in love with you. Saiya, Saiya, मेरा दिल खुशी से झूमे गाए रातें, तुझे जीत जीत हारूं, ये प्राण प्राण वारूं, हाय ऐसे मैं निहारूं, तेरी आरती उतारूं, तेरे नाम से जुड़े सारे नाते, सैया।